This is a gift with purchase, and if you didn't know, LEGO normally give these away in their stores when you buy specific LEGO sets, and most of the time they value these at about $15 to $20. So in this video I'm going to tackle the impossible and try to make 4 little diorama sets, but limiting myself to as fewer pieces as possible. Really trying to stick into that $20 limit, and obviously I can't go making these sets massive like I've done in the past, so trying to keep them intentionally small is crucial. And where better to start than Star Wars, as this year they had a terrible gift with purchase for the Venator, and although this video is not designed to technically fit in with that Venator set, I am going to base my first model on episode 3 and do a scene that I think everybody loves. Now as we're going purposely small, I'm going to work in this 12x12 area with a black border around the edge, as I feel it gives that little bit more of a premium feel. Taking a look at the scene itself, we see that Anakin and Obi-Wan go from fighting on this droid to Obi-Wan jumping over to the high ground, and with a series of black pieces and slopes, I'm going to be building up this little rock for Obi-Wan to stand on. I'm also going to be building a smaller rock over the other side of the model, so I can build that droid platform on top of this to make it look like Anakin's hovering above the lava. Speaking of which, I'm going to be using a bunch of transparent pieces to indicate the lava below, on top of that using these dark red round pieces to sort of show the larger chunks of colour. I did this same technique for a Minecraft build not too long ago, and it seemed to work there quite well for lava, so why not do it again? Lastly, I'm going to build this platform for Anakin to stand on, and we're going to stick this on top of that rock that I built earlier, just to try and give a bit more depth to this model. And last but not least, the only thing we can do now is add our minifigures. I'm going to be using these minifigures from the Mustafar set that came out a while ago, and weirdly this Anakin is like $40 now. I'm really glad I picked that set up when I did. This set turned out great. I think it's the perfect size to be putting on a desk, and even though I called my other models desk pieces in the past, those ones got really big towards the end. So it's really nice to go back to doing something really small. But believe it or not, before starting this model, I couldn't work out whether I wanted to do something from the prequels or the OT. So I decided I'll just make something from the original trilogy as well, but you'll have to wait till the end of the video if you want to see that one. For now, I'm moving on to one of my favourite LEGO themes. Although I don't think it's ever had a gift with purchase, I really want to make a gift with purchase for Minecraft. So again, I'm going to be working with that same 12x12 area, as it just fits so nicely on my desk. Once again, I'm going to be adding that black border to the base, but as there's so much to do in Minecraft, it's literally a sandbox game. What do we do in our tiny little diorama here? Well, I have an idea. One of the coolest features to be introduced into Minecraft is fear, and I personally love the idea of a mob that's designed to just terrify you, as opposed to just having something there to be fought. Of course, I'm talking about the Warden, a mob that rises from the ground after you, the player, have made too much noise in its domain. And with our little diorama, I really want to recreate a scene where the Warden is bursting out of the ground, just like it does in the game. So now that we know the scene, you can see I've covered the ground in stone, and I'm going to add these white tiles to indicate some carpet that Steve is trying to use to sneak his way around the Warden. But as you can see, it hasn't worked. Over on the stone just over here, I'm adding a shrieker using parts found in the official set, and this really cool technique where I use blue dishes to represent the particle effects of it calling the Warden. And as you can see, I've left this corner open. This is where our Warden's going to go. And as I want to have him bursting out of the ground, I'm literally just going to make his arm, which consists of a bunch of brackets and different coloured blue and tan pieces. But you can see in there I've added a ball joint, and that's because that's where I'm going to attach the head to have it look like it's bursting out of the ground. I'm going to go ahead and add this emerald ore just to make this look a bit more like a Minecraft setting, and the last thing to do is add in our terrified Minecraft player Steve, who is clearly coming to the ancient city completely unprepared, wearing no armor and equipped with one snowball. Believe it or not, I actually like this model way more than the Star Wars one. It's something about the little techniques that are used in this model that make it really interesting to me. And I like this model so much that I'm thinking we could possibly make this set a lot bigger in an upcoming video. And as calming and relaxing as Minecraft is, sometimes you just need that little bit of extra help. That's where today's video's paid partner might be able to help: BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online therapy service that's already had over 4 million people use it to start living happier and healthier lives. We all know starting therapy can be really, really difficult. Sometimes the right therapist for you might not be in your area, or maybe you just feel uncomfortable with a face-to-face interaction with therapy. With BetterHelp, it's never been easier to find the right therapist for you. You can have your sessions via phone call, video chat, even messaging if that's what you prefer. It's all about whatever makes you the most comfortable with therapy. And to get started, it's super simple. You just fill out a simple questionnaire to help assess your specific needs and wants out of therapy, then you usually get matched with a therapist within about 48 hours. And after that, you can message and book your therapy sessions whenever it's convenient for you. And if your matched therapist isn't the right fit for whatever reason, you can simply change that therapist with the press of one button at no additional cost. If you think you might benefit from therapy, consider BetterHelp. Click the link in the description below to visit BetterHelp/TommyCBricks. Not only does clicking the link support the channel, but it gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp to get you connected faster and easier. And having used the platform myself and knowing a lot of people that use it to this day, I couldn't recommend BetterHelp enough if you're thinking about getting into therapy. Again, the link's in the description if you want to check it out. Now let's get back to making some awesome models. And I want to head over to the MCU. And when thinking of the MCU, MCU, it was really difficult to pick a scene that I really wanted to depict, as a lot of the models that I'd want to build are just too big for this kind of a footprint. I don't even think I can get the core Avengers on this 12x12 plate, so that means this scene is off of the table. But what I wanted to do is call back to the very first MCU film and make Tony working on his suit in the cave. Obviously this is a pivotal point in Tony Stark's story, becoming Iron Man for the first time, and that's the scene that I want to recreate. So sticking with our 12x12, I want to make up the cave floor by using these dark tan pieces. I'm eventually going to try and make this look as messy as possible, with everything still studded down, so there's a lot more studs on here than the other models I've made. Like I say, I want to make this thing messy and also try and make it look like it's somewhat of a cave, so adding a little bit of rock work and debris just scattered around, really trying to make it look like the scene without having too much or too little going on. Speaking of which, I do think we need the Mark 1 armor just chilling in the back here, and then I think I'm just going to decorate the floor with a few accessories like this anvil, a barrel, and a little bit of cave detailing to again try and make this look like it's underground. I'll build a little fire and a lamp so we can see what he's doing when working on his Iron Man helmet, and speaking of which, there's nothing more to do than to add our minifigure, smashing that Mark 1 into shape just like you should be smashing that subscribe button. It's crazy to think how close we are to 100k. I reckon we can do it by the end of the year. And a super special thanks to everybody who's taken that little bit of extra time out of their day just to press subscribe under this video. I know it doesn't take a lot, but it really means a lot to me, so thank you so much if you're one of those people. And with that, I think we should loop back around to Star Wars, as I promised an original trilogy model by the end of this video. And one of my favourite scenes from Star Wars Episode 4 is the iconic moment where Leia gives R2 the plans, creating this silhouette that's become a staple with the Star Wars franchise. And as we're actually going to be building some walls this time, I'm going to be blocking everything in first, starting with the walls. I'm using the scene depicted in the Skywalker saga as a lot of inspiration for this model, so as you can see here on one of my walls, I'm copying the wall ever so slightly, just done at a much smaller scale. But before I add those in, I'm going to detail all of the floor. Here's where a lot of the inner workings of the Tantive is usually stored, and as you can see there's a bunch of wires and canisters on the wall, so I'm going to try and recreate that with a lot of these paint roller pieces, as well as these canister pieces that I've made much smaller. I've used a very similar technique on the back wall here as the main walls that we've done, just done in a lighter colour just to try and give a bit more depth, but the thing I really want to focus on is this big dial door thing behind them. You see it a lot clearer in the game than you do necessarily the film. I want to include it there as it's better to have something there than to not have anything in the first place. Now I was struggling to think how I was going to do this, but I ended up settling on this piece, but instead of tiling it off, using the texture of the anti-studs alongside this octagon piece with studs facing forward to create this really cool and interesting texture. Pair that along with the grey walls that I've built up around it, I think this ends up being a cool design for a little hallway for our minifigures to create that iconic moment. Speaking of which, and damn, this set is definitely my favourite out of the 4 we've built today, to the point where I think I'm actually going to keep this one on my desk as opposed to the other 3, but you'll have to let me know which one you display in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'm going to gently again ask you to subscribe if you enjoyed this. Here's a video on screen I think you'd really enjoy if you like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.